Look at this. This is bad. I want you to. وَالْجَاهِلُ مَيِّتٌ وَهُوَ قَبْرٌ يَمْشِي عَلَى الْأَرْضِ. The ignorant person, he's dead while he's walking on earth, and he's dead. This comes from an ayah in the Quran. The ulama, they don't just speak. They do istinbat. They derive the ahkam and the ruling from the Quran and the Sunnah.
أعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. Today, inshallah, topic I want to navigate with you from the Quran and the Sunnah about the value of seeking knowledge in Islam and the value of the ulama based on the Quran and the Sunnah. With knowledge, nations will rise. With ignorance, nations and countries and big countries will fall down because of ignorance. Every country, whether the ilm that is praised by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all the knowledge. Whether the knowledge of the Quran, the Sunnah, how to worship Allah, the halal and the haram. What is halal, what is haram, how to get married, how to recite the Quran is ilm, how to pray, how to know Allah, His name and attribute is ilm. This is seeking knowledge. And also the knowledge of the dunya, the secular, doctor, engineer, to medication, medicine, all of those are praised by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the nations will be considered advanced because of their ilm and their knowledge and their technology. And Islam, to be honest with you, is supposed to be number one about ilm and knowledge. The Quran is full about لَعَلَّهُمْ يَعْقِلُونَ يَرْفَعِ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْعِلْمَ دَرَجَاتٍ. Allah has raised those who has given knowledge. The first verse, by the way, the first verse that was revealed on this nation of Islam is Iqra, read and study and understand. Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. And look at the word, read with the name of your Lord. Study and know, but your intention is Allah. Even if you study medicine, your intention should be to help humanity. It becomes an act of ibadah. When scientists who have this intention, when they create some medication, those medications that they facilitate the pain on people, this is an act of worshiping Allah. Because of the intention. That's why it says, Iqra, read in the name of your Lord. Read with the name of Allah. Bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. The one who created. خلق الإنسان من علق. And then he says, Iqra wa rabbuka al-akram alladhi allama al-insana ma lam ya'lam. Allah is the one who taught the human beings all of this knowledge. When? This ayah referring also, there is an ayah Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا. When Allah created Adam alayhi salam, why Adam will be preferred above the angels? All these angels that Allah, they don't make mistakes, they don't make sin. Allah created them from Noor, from light. And when He created Adam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ. Allah taught Adam all the names. And some of the ulama, they say, this word allama, Allah taught Adam all the names, Adam and his progeny. That Allah, there is all the knowledge is in us. You just need to explore it. Every kind of knowledge, whether the knowledge of the religion, spiritual knowledge, the divine knowledge, or the knowledge of the dunya, the secular dunya, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allama, when He says allama Adam al-asma'a kullaha, Shaykh al-Sha'rawi, he says this word, everything, he says it means everything. Because Allah says everything. It means everything. Allama Allah, He taught Adam alayhi salam and inspired him to know everything. And his progeny, they carry on those things, but it's in you. You just need to explore it and to get it out. You need to make some effort. Seeking knowledge is an act of ibadah and it's an act of jihad. Because you struggle to get what you already have. You have it. The human beings are built to know. They're built to study and to absorb and to advance and to create. We're not animals that eat and drink. We are creative.
You have to, before you leave this world, you have to leave some invention. You have to leave something amazing. That's why they say, oh, this is the next point. They say, العالم حي بعد موته والجاهل ميت في حياته. The ulama, they come up with this. They say the scholar, the knowledgeable person, is alive after he dies as well. He's alive now and even when he dies. What they mean? The scholar, the one who knows, even if he died, his books, his inventions still exist, and the people benefit from him. The people, can you believe the people will benefit from you even when you die? If you have a sincere intention, you will get rewarded by this, by Allah, for this thing. That's why the Prophet ﷺ, he says, مَاتَ الرَّجُلُ وَانْقَطَعَ عَمَلُهُ إِلَّا مِنْ ثَلَاثٍ. When a person died, all of his good deed is cut off. He has no means for good deed. Except, he says, one of them is, وَعِلْمٌ يُنْتَفَعُ بِهِ. Knowledge that will benefit. Even when you die. That's why the ulama, they say, الْعَالِمُ حَيٌّ بَعْدَ مَوْتِهِ. A scholar, he's alive even after his death. We still remember Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, we still remember Imam Ahmad, we still remember Umar ibn Khattab, we still remember the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we still remember. Why? Because their ilm, their knowledge, their iman, their taqwa. وَالْجَاهِلُ, look at this, this is bad. I want you to, وَالْجَاهِلُ مَيِّتٌ وَهُوَ قَبْرٌ يَمْشِي عَلَى الْأَرْضِ. The ignorant person, he's dead while he's walking on earth and he's dead. This comes from an ayah in the Quran. The ulama, they don't just speak. They do istinbat. They derive the ahkam and the ruling from the Quran and the Sunnah. You can turn the light on this. They say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says in one ayah, He says, أَوَمَنْ كَانَ مَيْتًا أَوَمَنْ كَانَ مَيْتًا فَأَحْيَيْنَاهُ وَجَعَلْنَا لَهُ نُورًا يَمْشِي بِهِ بَيْنَ النَّاسِ كمن هو في الظلمات كمن مثله في الظلمات ليس بخارج منها. One more time. I want you to know this ayah. This is Allah is talking. This is the value of the person who know Allah. He says, أَوَمَنْ كَانَ مَيْتًا. Allah is posing the question, isn't it the same, the one who is, he used to be dead. This is a spiritual death. فَأَحْيَيْنَاهُ. Then we give him life. وَجَعَلْنَا لَهُ نُورًا. We give him life and then we give him nur. الْعِلْمُ نُور وَالْجَهْلُ عَارٌ. Ilm, it's an act of light. The ulama, they give example of the ilm. He says, beautiful example. He says like people, they are in the middle of a jungle. And all of a sudden there was no moon, there was the middle of the darkness of the darkness. And there's holes and there's obstacles. They could not even people move. But all of a sudden one of them has a torch, has some light. All of the people, they gathered around him and none of them was harmed. And all of this is the similitude of the person who have knowledge. وَجَعَلْنَا لَهُ نُورًا يَمْشِي بِهِ بَيْنَنَا. Do you want to become nur and light for the people in your neighborhood, for your family, for your community? You want to be nur, you want to be light, that the people, they guide through you, they see light, they see things through that thing. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, يَمْشِي بِهِ بَيْنَ النَّاسِ. He's walking between the people with that torch, with that light, with the ilm, with the hikmah, with the knowledge, with the ahadith of the Prophet. And then He said, كَمَنْ مَثَلُهُ فِي الظُّلُمَاتِ. Is it this one is similar to the one who is struggling in the darkness of ignorance? لَيْسَ بِخَارِجٍ مِنْهَا. You will never get out of the darkness of that ignorance until you return back to Allah. And immediately when you go back to Allah, what do Allah tell you? فَاعْلَمْ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا هُوَ وَاسْتَغْفِرْ لِذَنْبِكَ. Allah says, فَاعْلَمْ. This is an amr and a command by Allah. This is the value of seeking knowledge. Number one, seeking knowledge, it's a command of Allah. فَاعْلَمْ, it's an amr, imperative, it's a must. Allah says, seek knowledge. Today we don't have any excuse because of the internet. Long time ago, if you do not go to Al-Azhar, if you do not go to Medina University, if you don't go to Lahore University, you still become ignorant.
But today, Lahore and China, the seeking knowledge, all of these universities in the tip of your fingers. You can go and study online today while you still work and function in society, but still you can seek knowledge 2-3 hours a day to remove this ignorance. That's why the ulama, they say, من عبد الله بجهل فكأنما عصاه. If you worship Allah out of ignorance, as if you disobey Him. You disobey Allah. Everything is wrong. Salah is wrong, Tawheed is wrong, La ilaha wrong. There is Muslims who cannot do the adhan. They cannot do the salah. They cannot lead. They cannot do. How could you? They don't know what is marriage. What is the pillars of marriage? What is the divorce? How to divorce? How to get married? How to do raj'ah? How to? Wallah, this is Allah, beauty. Actually, this is beautiful. Islam is the religion of hayat al-qulub. It's the life, the ilm. The deen is and the ilm, they go together. They don't. It's not the religion of blindness. You should not ask anything you want in Islam. There is no shame. Ask about your religion. Ala sa'alu. The Prophet ﷺ, he said one time, somebody has janaba, has wet dream. He would dream. Before you want to pray, you have to take a shower. But this guy, he has injury, his head was injured, bleeding. Wake up in the morning, he wants to do tayammum. You see now, a lot of people don't even know tayammum. Tayammum means it's something you make wudu without water. You just tap the ground and you wipe your hand and you wipe your face and you're ready to pray based on some excuses that you have. Maybe the water doesn't exist or you don't have water. You use the sand. The Prophet ﷺ, the sand is tahur for my ummah. The sand and the rocks are wudu, are an act of wudu for my ummah when they don't have water, when there is no water. So they ask him, no. He wants to do tayammum, which is just tapping on the stone and the sand and wiping his hands and his face. They told him, no, you have to wash with the water. And he did listen to them and he washed. And he touches the injury. They opened the injury with water and the next day he died. When they went back to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, the biggest teacher in the world, they asked him, Ya Rasulullah, O Messenger of Allah, this is what happened. And they asked him to wash with water and he died. The Prophet ﷺ, he says, Ala sa'alu. They don't ask, they don't have a tongue to ask about when they are ignorant. Ala sa'alu. فَإِنَّمَا دَوَاءُ الْعَيِّ السُّؤَالِ. He says the cure of ignorance is asking. How can I do this? How? Ala sa'alu. It's enough for him to do tayammum. So what I'm saying, the Prophet said, Ala sa'alu, seeking knowledge, it's an act of worship in Islam. It's an act of jihad. ومن فضائل هذه النصوص Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says فَاعْلَمْ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا هُ. Know that there is no God but Allah. No, Allah says it's an act of, it's a must to know La ilaha illallah. What is the negation of La ilaha illallah? What is the pillars of La ilaha? We talked last week about the pillars of La ilaha illallah, to believe in Allah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says فَاعْلَمْ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ. Know and get to know Allah. The ulama, they say وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. But some of the ulama, they say except to know Allah. I have not created jinn and the ins except to worship me. The ulama, they say this word except. To worship Allah, it means except to know Allah. Allah, He wants to be known by His names and attributes. We should know Him. He created you to know Him. What do you know about Allah? What I know about Allah? We know nothing. We need to know more. Every day you should dedicate some time to know about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we don't have excuse. These people created this technology, this phone to destroy people. There is people who become scholars with this phone. You can become a scholar if you use it properly. You wake up in the morning, you read your adhkar, you read your deen, you read your qada, you memorize, you study. Yeah, you can be online while you are working. This is silahun dhu haddain. It's a double-edged sword. It's a weapon that has sharp from two. You can use it to destroy. There's people who divorce because of this phone again. There's people who went to jail because of the phone. And there's people who get closer to Allah because of the phone. Yes, but use your aql, use your mind. And if you make a mistake and you went through something that is haram or forbidden, just make tawbah and return. Because the haram is so crazy and too much. But when something happens, go back and make tawbah to Allah. But the only thing that will defend you is ilm, is seeking knowledge. فضل العلم والعلماء. There is an ayah in the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is one of the virtue of the virtues and the fadl and the value of the ulama. This ayah, what did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, شَهِدَ اللَّهُ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا هُ. Allah has bear witness. Allah has witnessed that there is no God, no deity with Him. La ilaha illahu. This is number one. Allah has witnessed that there is no God, no human, nothing worthy of worship except Him. Who witnessed this? Who witnessed? Allah Himself. And then He had two more. And this is what the value of the scholar. He had two more. Who's this number two? Number two who? Al-Malaika. شهد الله أنه لا إله إلا هو والملائكة. Allah has witnessed that there is no God worthy of worship except Him. And it's sufficient. If Allah says, I am Allah and there is no one is with me, that was enough. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had two more as the value. He says, وَالْمَلَائِكَةِ, the angels. These billions and billions of angels, all of them, they witness that there is no God worthy of worship except you, Ya Allah. And they do this. لا يعصون الله ما أمرهم ويفعلون ما يؤمرون. They do not disobey Allah, and they only do what Allah commanded them to do. Some of them are angel of death, some of them angel Jibreel, who comes with the Quran, the revelations and on, and so on. Every malaika, one of the angels, has his own responsibility. Some of them now, based on the hadith, they are surrounding this gathering. They are, في hadith يقول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, there is malaika, they are طيارون, they are flying on this universe, looking for hilaq al-dhikr, looking for people who will remember Allah.